You just have to do something every day, and you just have to. You can't stop with this thing. I think the danger, of course, when you're doing retail arbitrage, particularly when you're only finding relatively small items of stock or relatively small numbers, is you're constantly having to restock and find new stuff because it sells. And so, it can become quite depressing because I think it's just the round of the supermarkets again, or it's the round of the shops and looking around. And sometimes you have good days, and sometimes you have not so good days. And in the end, you've just got to suck it up and just turn around and say, look, the bad days are going to happen.
Welcome to the E-Commerce Freedom Podcast with your host, Oliver Denyer. Learn the practical steps you need to take to build a business you can run on your own terms. Escape the 9 to 5 and work from anywhere in the world.
Hey, how's it going? It's Ollie here. Very warm welcome to another episode of the E-Commerce Freedom Podcast. Now, in this episode, it's actually kind of a special episode for you. I've got a bit of a treat for you because I wanted to give you a sneak peek inside one of my Inner Circle sessions. And in fact, on the most recent Inner Circle session, we had a guy on called Tim, who's an Inner Circle member, and I took some time to actually interview him about his crazy results that he's got so far selling on Amazon, mainly with arbitrage, and he's starting to get into private labels, and I'll introduce Tim for you in a minute. But I wanted to just pre-frame this so you understand what happens on these calls to put it into context. So every fortnight, I have a group of people called the Inner Circle, and the whole point of the Inner Circle is for me to share all my inside tips about what's happening in Amazon, give them all the latest training. They get newsletters and stuff. And on these calls is when we have people featured as guests, so they can get one-to-one help. I can help them move forward with their businesses. They can bring any questions they have. We look at their products online to make sure they're importing stuff that's going to sell and all that good stuff. And it's like the place where everybody comes, put their heads together, and we share wins, and it's just an awesome atmosphere. Now, when Tim shot me a message and said, Ollie, would it be all right if I jumped on just to tell everyone what I've been up to over the past month, I was really, really excited to hear about this. He had been selling on Amazon for about 30 days, or I think 32 days, when he sent me this message. And in his first month, during October to the end of November, he did £5,000 in sales. And he's been doing a lot of arbitrage and stuff in the UK and just building up his cash to progress forward to private labels. So he's got an amazing result already using the stuff, the strategies that we know about, arbitrage and retail and online arbitrage. Now, Tim's vision is actually to take this business, run it remotely from a laptop, and travel around the world with his wife. And what's happening now is he's just building up the capital to be able to get there so he can actually start importing from China, do this stuff remotely, and get closer and closer and closer to his vision. So without further ado, what I'm going to do now is actually play the interview for you. You'll be able to hear his progress so far, how he's getting on with his journey. You'll get a few tips and tricks for how he structured his week. And I really drilled down, tried to get out of him how he actually managed to get such a crazy result in such a short space of time. So I really hope you enjoy this interview. And I'd like to introduce to you Tim Savage. Hey, Tim, how's it going, man?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you loud and clear. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. Really well. Great to see you.
Yeah, you too, Tim. Absolutely, man. So from my understanding, things are going really well.
I'm just having lots of fun. I just can't believe how much fun it is. I hit the £5,000 mark for sales today.
Amazing.
And made my first sale on the 24th of October, so it's not bad for just over a month. Pretty good going.
Wow. Okay, so let's maybe talk a little bit about what you've done to get such quick results then. And just see if we can give some. I'm sure there's people in the group who wish they'd done that much so far. So let's see if we can give them a few insights, man. So
I guess the big thing is momentum. You just have to do something every day, and you just have to. You can't stop with this thing. I think the danger, of course, when you're doing retail arbitrage, particularly when you're only finding relatively small items of stock or relatively small numbers is you're constantly having to restock and find new stuff because it sells. And so, it can become quite depressing because I think it's just the round of the supermarkets again, or it's the round of the shops and looking around, and sometimes you have good days and sometimes you have not so good days. And in the end, you've just got to suck it up and just turn around and say, look, the bad days are going to happen. And I've had a week or so just now, and I think I put it in the group this week, where there's been absolutely nothing. I've literally found nothing worth looking at. And then suddenly yesterday, I walked into Tesco's. There's my big treat for you guys. Go and have a look at your Tesco's at the moment, because they are discounting toys like billion at the moment because they clearly bought far too much. And they're flogging stuff up for half price. And there's probably, I think, even after fees of shipping and all the rest of it, and FBA fees, I'm looking to make somewhere around £20 profit, net profit, on some of the stuff I've been sending in and found today.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's for each item. So it's just, the stuff's out there. And I just take huge, every time I listen to one of your things or do a bit more training, and I'm trying desperately to stop doing retail arbitrage because I want to get into the importing and the private labeling. But the truth is that this time of year, particularly, it's just such a good way of making a bit more money, because every bit of profit I make means I can import more from China, because we've all got a limited budget of what we can afford to buy in the first place. And so I'm sitting here now, and I'm surrounded by samples at the moment. I'm surrounded by samples of my first two hopefully private label products. Whether I'm going to private label them straight away or not, I don't think I am. I think, taking your advice, I'm just going to get them into the country and start selling them. I've bought some OENs off eBay so I can label them and list them under my own products, because I think the one thing I hate, and I suppose I'm slightly frustrated about, but there's nothing you can do about it, so you just have to get on with it, is the fact that when you're selling other people's stuff, you make the listing better, and of course it improves their sales too.
Absolutely.
So having your own listing is key, I think, to you want to get that great listing. And I'm a business coach and I'm a copywriter, so I'm really quite looking forward to writing.
I didn't realise that.
Some good sort of some copy for it. But of course, you need your own product to be able to do that. So I'm really looking forward to that. So my aim, and I've got an aim by the end of this week, is that I will have placed an order for my first two batches, my initial batch samples, batch sets of about 300 items each to come in from China.
Oh, wow.
I've got my first one in. The first one's arrived in the country, and I've just paid the VAT on it today, which is really cool. I'm having a couple of challenges with Amazon UK selling some of the stuff, and I've just been told I can sell it in Germany and France. So I've got some research to do in how I can. They have told me I can send it in to the FBA warehouse, but I can only sell it in Germany and France. So I've now got to sit down and work out how to list in Germany and France only. So I've got a bit of work to do there.
Okay. But, I'm interested to know, is that a category thing, or?
Yeah, it's a category thing.
So it's a subcategory that's restricted and you have to get ungated.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. and they, at the moment it's all proving it's all too difficult in UK, and I guess that's another big theme for me, is that, you know what, Amazon very often seem to just put these sort of little challenges in front of you, make life a bit difficult.
Never ending, yeah.
And you know what, you could get really depressed about it and just think, they're trying to stop me from building a business. And the truth is, you've just got to turn around, you just got to go around it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think it's important. It's important to look at it with an objective attitude, which you obviously are. Because if you think about it this way, if we had to build our own websites, get our own traffic, build our own brand, get respect with customers, it would be so much more complicated. Yeah. So yes, Amazon give us tons of challenges, but compared to doing everything ourselves, it is a lot easier. And I've had two poor 1-star reviews that came through because Amazon sent the wrong thing out. Yeah, I know.
And that, God, and I looked at it, I went, no, you can't do that. But actually, they just took them off immediately, because I said, well, hang on a second, it's your fault, guys, not mine, so I shouldn't be taking the shit for this. And immediately they just took them off. So they are extraordinarily helpful. And I have to say, if people aren't using seller support, I mean, I've put in about 8 seller support requests in the last couple of days. And every single time they've come back and they've been helpful. And you know, it may not always be the answer you want, but they are always trying to give you the answer you want.
They've expanded so rapidly. When I started a couple of years ago, it was more local, but now they've got tons of Filipino. And some of them aren't trained as well. I think my VAs are trained better. But
I suspect so.
If you keep trying,
and that's my other thing. I'm reading with great interest your VA stuff that came out today in the Inner Circle. I got that yesterday.
Oh, great, good stuff.
And that's my next big thing, because if anyone is going to build a big business in Amazon, you've got to stop doing the crappy stuff and concentrate on the stuff that makes you money.
Absolutely.
I'm really, I've got to do. I'm sort of just about to start week 1 of your 4-week course in hiring my first VA, because I think that will make that step change for me, where I can find the time to do the things that I need to do to strategically grow the business. Because actually, the business is not me going around Tesco's and Sainsbury's trying to find bloody stock. It's nice while you're doing it, and sometimes there's a bit of money to be made. But I'm not gonna let my wife give up work by flogging off toys from Tesco's and Sainsbury's when they can be bothered to sell them off cheap themselves. So
exactly,
for me, it's all about understanding what my end goal is, and understanding that, and so all little things that stop you. You know, when Amazon can't do something one day, or you can't get ungated or whatever, I just flog it on eBay. If I can't sell it on Amazon, I'll sell it on eBay. I've now got a Shopify shop fully set up, and so there I'm now flogging stuff on Shopify. So quite frankly, I mean, Amazon is no doubt about it is going to be the main part of the business. But when you have these little challenges, you just go, well, okay, I'll flog it somewhere else, and don't get too depressed about it. I think you can sit at home and get really quite depressed about things. And the truth is that we've all got this fantastic opportunity, and we just need to deal with those minor issues and concentrate on the big picture.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the main thing. I'd like to. I know there's a lot of people sitting here probably thinking, you know, retail arbitrage. I can see it's a way of making quick cash, because it is, right? So I'd like to go through, like, what does your week look like?
Okay.
To actually get these sales.
Yeah.
So in order to get enough products into your account, find the profitable stuff, like, what do you do day to day? Do you have like a pattern that happens every week?
I do. I guess, in truth, I'm going around the supermarkets and the shops. They're all relatively close by, and I've got a nice little circuit that I go on these days, and I can get in and out in about 2 hours, I reckon, and do the whole lot.
Okay. So you're checking the same places?
Yeah. And that's what's really interesting for me, because, you know, you go a week and there's nothing there, and then suddenly it's like pang, kapow, and they're all suddenly stuffing.
Yeah.
And you walk out with bucket loads of stuff and get funny looks from all these old grannies on the tills, and turn around saying, "Oh, you've got lots of grandchildren there." And, you know, you just ignore them politely and just move on and keep buying stuff. So I guess I spend a couple of hours a day at the moment, not every day, but probably 4 or 5 days a week, going around the shops and finding stock to sell in. So I reckon I try and get in 2 shipments a week into Amazon to try and keep the stock levels up, particularly at the moment, because stuff is selling so well. And then I suppose the other key thing I do every single morning, actually first thing, is I check my prices, because the truth is, and I think it's probably it all comes across in your training, is the buy box is key. And so, you know, everyone slightly adjusts their prices by 2 pence, 10 pence, or whatever it is. And I don't like to use the automated pricing, because sometimes people go really low, and I don't necessarily want to go that low, because I think one of the things that you talked about a couple of weeks ago was lots of people are going to run out of stock soon. And therefore, you know, it's quite nice to keep your stock on hand to take advantage of higher prices later. And I've seen that this week, where I'm the only one in the market for one particular product I've been selling. Everyone else is sold out, and I've just raised my prices by £6, and people are still buying it because there's no one else there to sell it. So I can charge that price. So I guess every morning, you get on the old seller app and check your prices and manage your pricing, and I do that across the 5 countries. So the Germany, the Italy, the Spain, the France, and the UK. I tend to. You can charge higher prices in overseas, in France and Germany. I am getting more money across there. They don't seem to have the same discounting supermarkets that we have to be able to get hold of stock as cheaply as we can. So
I think e-commerce in the UK is more competitive.
Oh yeah,
especially. I mean, I'm living in Sweden, and there's no e-commerce here.
No,
it's weird. Like I thought it was everywhere. It's really not. So it's probably the same in Spain.
Yeah, I mean, I would say France is my next biggest sale. I mean, of the 5,000 odd pounds, I think I've probably had about 1,400 euros in France.
Oh wow!
I've probably had 800 in Germany. And then Italy's about 300 and Spain's a little bit, a couple of hundred, I think. So France and Germany are selling really well for me at the moment. And I think that's the one thing that I'm interested in is when you're, when you get your first private label going, we're all looking at good old Jungle Scout or whatever and looking at the sales or potential sales. But of course, that's only the UK side. And so when people are thinking to themselves, well, I wonder whether I can make my £1,000 a month net profit from this particular item. Don't forget you're selling in 4 other countries as well. You should be selling in 4 other countries as well. So if you can make 500 quid in UK, you can bet your bottom dollar that you can probably make the other 500 up from the rest of Europe as well, potentially.
Yeah.
So don't be fixated about just making the 500 or the 1,000 in UK, in my view, because at the moment, as you said, it's more about establishing yourself and not worrying too much about the profit levels. And I quite like to establish these things across the whole of Europe.
Absolutely. In a few days, maybe a week or two, I'm going to be releasing some training on European listings as well.
Yeah, that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, because we obviously, when you're listing stuff on other people's listings in France, Spain, it's fine because it's all done. But with your own product, you'll need to get it translated and make sure it's optimized for that country. So hopefully you'll find that stuff helpful as well.
That will be really helpful because I've got, as I said, these products I can't sell in UK. I've got to build listings in France and Germany. And so, other than using Google Translate and hoping for the best, there's not much else I can do. Although I have got a friend of mine who's a quite good speaker in both those languages, so I might be able to get some help there.
Yeah.
Goes. But just my wife did tell you some supper there.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you.
She's the one who wants to give up work.
Oh, really? Brilliant. That's so cool. That's a good vision, man. So your vision is to travel and to be able to run the business remotely?
3 years ago, we went traveling for 2 years, and we went traveling around the world. We sold the house, put everything at the store, and went around the world for a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
We've now come back. We live in North Devon. I've gone back to doing some business coaching part-time, and I'm now doing this. So, and my wife is full-time working and doesn't want to be full-time working. So
yeah.
I better get my arse in gear and get this Amazon business up and running.
Awesome.
And she wants to join the business. That's the big thing. I mean, if we can get this business stabilized at a certain level, then she can give up work and join the business and become instead of paying for VAs, she can become my VA and do all of it.
Awesome. That's handy. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the day stuff, I guess I check my prices. I do some retail arbitrage. I get excited and a bit obsessive about checking for my sales on a daily basis, and probably far too much. But it is quite exciting when you get £500 days.
Absolutely. How was Black Friday for you, by the way?
Oh, I think it was about 560 quid, which in a day is pretty good going for just toys.
Yeah.
Games.
It's amazing, yeah.
There's a clear pattern in my mind going across. I mean, we've been selling now for a month. Fridays are always awesome. The British start, for some extraordinary reason, they get bored in work by 12 o'clock. So sales start rocketing at about 12 o'clock in UK. And so all day Friday, then Saturday's a little bit quieter. And then Sunday goes, from Sunday lunchtime onwards, everyone's sitting around and thinking about stuff. So I get big sales on Sunday.
I think Sundays are quite good for us. I mean, I sell so many categories; it's a bit different now. But
and then Mondays aren't bad, funny enough. And then then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday tend to be the quiet days, and then it goes nuts again on a Friday. So you just take it for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how many hours are you putting in each day for the actual arbitrage then during the week? Would you say?
Oh, a couple of hours a week, a couple of hours a day at the moment, maximum. And that includes packing up and selling, and all the rest of it. It's not a full-time business. It's something that, I mean, it could be. You could become obsessed about it and sit there on Alibaba all day. And certainly when people start using Alibaba, you'll find you get lots of people contacting you and lots of people trying to sell your stuff because you put an RFQ in and you just get the world and his uncle trying to sell to you. which can be a bit frustrating at times. But actually, again, you've got to remind yourself that it's your business. It's not their business. And so when you get all these people trying to sell this stuff and you've got your samples, you just ignore them in the nicest possible sense, because you can't sit around and say, send me 20 samples, because your brain just goes into overload mode. So in the nicest possible sense, I might just send them a quick note saying, thanks very much, got my samples. I'm not taking any further sort of, any requests or whatever else. And you just put them off. And you mustn't get distracted by all these people who are suddenly trying to come in and flog your stuff. Because I'm very focused on, like you told us to do, is to concentrate on getting the first one up, and then the second one, and then the third one. You can't do it all at once. This is not a business that you can just go in and turn around and say, yeah, well, you can, I guess, because you've got some people who've gone in and said, I'm launching 10 products at once. 9 at once or whatever it is. But, at the moment, I think I'm very comfortable with launching 2. If I could get 2 on the go by the beginning of the next year, I'd be really happy with that.
Absolutely.
I'd like 5 by... I've given myself a target of getting 5 launched by April.
Awesome. And is that $1,000 a month each?
If I can do $1,000 a month each for those, then that means that, if I can see that stabilize for a couple of months, June time, then, middle of the year, Tracy will give up work and come and join me in the business. That's the aim.
That's a good goal. Awesome.
So, and that's the key, I guess, in all of this is to focus on your goal and don't let other people distract you, and don't let little things distract you, because it can be frustrating and you can get all these, and you can get tied up. Do you know what? I've got businesses that are currently VAT registered, and this one is not currently VAT registered. And people turn around and say, oh, you can't sell in France and you can't sell in Germany. You've got to be VAT registered for them. And you don't, not for the first, I think it's 30,000 in France and 35,000 in Germany. So there's a leeway you can have where you can be an external seller before you've got to register for VAT in those countries. So I guess my message to the people who are just starting is don't get distracted or focused on problems. Concentrate on what you can do. Because everyone turns around and says, oh, someone told me I can't do that. Well, rubbish.
Horror stories. Yeah.
Horror stories about, you'll get on with it. Just do it. The reason I've sold $5,000 worth of sales in just over a month is because I go around the shops on a regular basis. I buy stuff, I get it into the bloody store, and it sells. And you can sit there and moan about it and say, I can't find anything, but it's out there. It's all out there. And I've not even done online arbitrage yet. I haven't even got around to doing it. Someone turned around and said, why aren't you doing online arbitrage? I said, because I haven't got time, because I'm making enough. I'm not making enough money, but I'm making money doing retail arbitrage. And actually, I haven't got time to focus on online arbitrage as well as focus on trying to find my first private label products. So I guess it's trying to focus on the things that you want from your business. And if online arbitrage and retail arbitrage is your bag and that's the way you want to go and you don't get involved in Chinese imports, absolutely get on with it, because there's shed loads of money to be made from it.
Yeah.
But if you want to go down the import route, and then you can't do what I don't, in my mind anyway, in time wise, certainly without a VA, you can't do all 3.
No.
You've got to focus on something. And so at the moment, the retail bit is great. And to be honest, I think come the new year, I'll be around for the New Year sales and hopefully stocking it all in and trying to get in there. But after that, my sole focus is actually private label products, because awesome. I don't want to spend my life wandering around Tesco's and Asda and Sainsbury's and TK Maxx and all the other places, because that's not what I joined the business for. I joined the business to sit back like you and have lovely people send stock into my freight forwarder and send it off to Amazon, and I'm going to sit in Bali and watch the sales come in.
It's the life. It's the way forward, man. Absolutely.
What's the next big thing? For I've got these products coming in now, Ollie, and they're not private labeled yet, because I've got to go through the process of getting my brand registered in UK. Do I need my brand registered in all the other countries as well, or will Amazon accept that I can just register in UK and they'll be happy enough for me to be a brand to sell overseas at that point? Or will I have to register in Germany, France, and all the other places as well?
The good news is that when you apply for your trademark, it's not very expensive to get an EU-wide trademark.
Okay.
So I would do that, and then that solves your problem anyway. I think
right.
it's a difference of like £100 or £200.
Oh, is it?
Trademark. Yeah. So I would just get it, and then it automatically should get approved everywhere.
I'll do that. But in the meantime, is it easy if you clearly want your own products to be labelled under your own name? Do you just attach your own EANs and then you can list them yourself? Is that the way?
So you don't have to have it registered as a brand. You can just list your products.
Yeah.
Write your brand in the brand section.
Yeah. Yeah.
And put your own EANs on, and it's fine. The only thing that's bad about not having your brand officially registered is that if somebody jumps on your listing, you can't say this is my product. Yeah. Get off. Yeah. Officially. I mean, you can bully them off, which is what I used to do, but you can't make it official. So yeah. Okay, that's really cool, because I mean, I think in the first instance, it just having your own EANs and getting selling is it's a bit like you said. You just want to know they can sell. That's the thing. Get profitable.
And if I know they can sell and get profitable, then I can then import by the thousand and whatever. I mean, what's the minimum order quantity that you want to try and get when you're, or should I say the stock levels that you're trying to get when you're with your private label products? So you're trying to have a month or 2 months stock in hand, or what, or do it on a sort of real time basis, or?
Mine, it depends on the product, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say when you can get to the point where you're ordering shipping container full, then I would try and fill a shipping container.
Okay.
And depending on the product, that will be 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months. Yeah. Depending on how big it is. Because when you can do that, it's so cost effective.
Yeah.
Because shipping by sea, I mean, it takes forever, but if you time it right, you save a ton of money. So that's how I do it. I do it by shipping container.
What's that? I've got an offer at the moment to express deliver the first 300 batch that I've got, but I think in weight terms, it's going to be too expensive to ship by air. I mean, we're talking probably about 300 kilos, and I think that's just way too much in terms of...
Yeah, that's too much for express, I'd say.
Yeah. So you just have to accept it may be better for me to get a cheaper price, order a few more, and get it shipped by sea.
Well, you don't have to get it shipped by air express. You could get it shipped by air cargo, which is like a step up.
Okay.
So instead of like door to door, you'd use a freight forwarder, and it would go on the bottom of like a commercial plane.
Yeah.
So speak to RJJ Freight and get a quote, and that should be a lot cheaper than express. Yeah,
it will be. Yeah. So air cargo. Great. Thanks, Ollie.
You're welcome.
So that's the big thing for me now is get 2 products now before the end of this year out on order, any inbound, so I can start selling those, and then cut back on the Tesco's and Sainsbury's and the retail arbitrage.
Sounds like a plan.
But it's making money at the moment. I mean, the nice thing, I guess, without doing any advertising, without doing any, you don't have to do any of that. It's just you're selling off the back of other people effectively. Which is what's so amazing about all of this. I've got a couple of friends of mine who I've sort of told them what I'm doing roughly, and they're just stunned that someone sold £5,000 worth of toys just in a month. And they said, "Oh, I like selling and buying, selling toys." I said, "It's not quite as good. It's not quite as easy as just wandering in a shop and buying a few toys, but you know what I mean." But it is there. The money's there to be made if you go around and do it. And so
Well, this is the perfect time of year for it as well. So,
I think you picked and what happens at the 90-day mark? I mean, does life become so much easier once you become a seller for 90 days? Do things automatically start engaging elsewhere, or do you have to apply, or what?
To be honest, I'm not too sure what happens. I mean, what kind of restrictions do you have right now? And you can get the buy box, right? Because there were talks of them taking away the buy box for 90 days. But I assume that hasn't happened.
I think we can get buy box. I'm certainly winning buy box. I mean, I've been up to 60 or 70% win rate in buy boxes. So
you've got the buy box. It might just be subcategories.
It's some of the subcategories that seem that don't get in, and there's also things that is it Prime offers or something that I can't be involved in for 90 days as a seller. There's clearly a number of things that Amazon help Prime sellers with FBA once they've seen you for 90 days. So I'm sort of plugging and waiting to get across that 90-day mark and see what happens.
Some things will definitely change. I mean, I don't know, they keep changing it, so I can't.
No, they do, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a huge thanks for you, by the way, because that 9-day challenge, which I know I won, which was great, thank you. But it was a massive kick in the backside, because it just meant that you could just turn around and focus on it and say, "Come on, you can do this."
Well, thanks a lot for taking action, because you motivated loads of other people, and that would have had a ripple effect on them and their circles. And so thanks for taking part.
We're around and can't wait to get to the next level, and looking forward to sharing it.
Awesome. Well, great to have you on, Tim, man. Thanks a lot for sharing.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Have you on again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care. Awesome. It's great to hear from Tim, just crushing it with 2 strategies at once. And as we said, like right now is the perfect time to do arbitrage. If you want to make some quick cash and you can put in a couple hours a day, and you want a quick turnaround of capital, arbitrage is the way forward. And then you can transition to more leverageable, scalable strategies such as importing for the long term. So it's great to hear Tim's done so well. $5,000 in sales in, just over a month. Fantastic results. Yeah, it's great to hear. Love hearing success stories like that. Awesome. I really, really hope you enjoyed that interview there with Tim. Hope you took a few golden nuggets away to apply in your business. And if nothing else, I hope it just motivated you that, you can get really quick results right in the beginning of selling on Amazon if you go out there and you take a ton of action. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Now, if you want to get started and get moving with your Amazon business as quick as physically possible, make sure you check out the show notes for this episode. Go to ecommercefreedom.com/19. That's ecommercefreedom.com/19, numbers 19. And there you'll see a link to my Fast Start guide. There's 4 videos going to teach you how to set up your Amazon account, find products to sell, check they're profitable within 60 seconds, and then send products into your Amazon account. And really, really simple, just quick, straight to the point videos, and it's completely free. So go to ecommercefreedom.com/19 and you'll be able to grab that bonus. Thanks so much for listening in today, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the E-Commerce Freedom Podcast.